working right now, what we've sort of discovered after working what we've discovered after working with a lot of brands on TikTok Shop and social commerce in general, right? To me, this is just a massive opportunity in general. TikTok Shop is the one that's taking the lead on this. But really today, what I want to talk about is what this opportunity is, how to actually scale, right? How to go from first sale to scale. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity. I've had a lot of brands reaching out because I've done the agency Accelerator. I've had a bunch of brands reaching out saying, hey, is there at any point where you'll help train us for brands that, aren't in the position to necessarily work with an agency. And so that's something that I'm going to be giving you guys the opportunity. This is not, if you guys know me at all, I'm not a high pressure sort of guy at all. I want to give you guys just opportunities to be able to see what the opportunity is. Know the sort of the basic principles behind it. I'm a big principles guy in trying to figure out the mechanics, right? So less tactical and more sort of what is the big strategic initiatives that you need to keep in mind, and that's what we're going to be going through today. Awesome. If anybody who is on my team is able to let people in and admit people in, that would be awesome. Just as you guys are coming in, let me know on a scale of 0 to 10 how confident you are in TikTok Shop. We've had a lot of 4s, 3s, some 4s. A 0, Ken. A 3. Okay. Awesome. So again, for everybody coming in right now, we're going to start in 1 minute here. What I ask during the presentation, just keep your mic muted if you can, and we're going to have a ton of time for Q&A afterwards. We'll do Q&A both verbal and in the questions as well. I'll try and catch up as much as I can on the side there. Again, we have gone from, if you guys have come to any of these presentations, you'll see the evolution over time of what I originally believed about TikTok Shop and social commerce in general to what we are actually seeing as we're learning. And that's really what I'm trying to do. If you guys follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter, is really just trying to share what is actually working right now. And it's interesting because on the platforms in general, things have changed, right? They just continually evolve. We have the incredible opportunity at our agency to be connected with the global key accounts team at TikTok and get a lot of early rollouts on sort of what's working and what's not, and some of the big initiatives that are coming forward. So I'm going to be able to share whatever I'm allowed to share with you guys from that. So, it's been 5 minutes. Without further ado, let's get into this here. Again, if somebody on my team is able to let people in, that would be great. I might have set it up wrong, guys. I'm not. So sometimes with this sort of stuff, I'm not the most techie person in the world. So awesome. If you guys have seen a big rebrand for myself and for the agency over to Social Commerce Club, when I see TikTok Shop and social commerce, to me, this is the biggest blue ocean opportunity that we have out there right now. It is one of, I think about my time, hands up here, who was here during the early days of Amazon and Facebook, or Amazon or Facebook? I was way back in the day. Yeah, awesome. Great. Tons of you guys. To me, this feels a lot like that. Yeah, 2014 in Facebook ads. I know we started our first brand that really took off. I actually first had a hoverboard brand that was in 2014. And then after that, everything really took off for us in 2015 on Facebook ads. To me, this feels a lot like that. It feels like that sort of opportunity. And a lot of brands are not, not really realizing where exactly or how to take advantage of this opportunity, because it's so different than things that we've seen before, right? We all understand advertising, right? I see what's happening right now with AppLovin, and it's funny because it's like we all understand that. It's like, okay, great, we're gonna throw ads onto a new channel. Okay. And whether or not it is incremental or not, it remains to be seen. I know that we're seeing some good early signs. That is not a fundamental shift. That is just a new channel, right? I really do believe that when social media marketing came around with Facebook, that was a fundamentally new way to advertise. This to me is a fundamentally new way to do business, and I think that's the exciting part about all of this. And for you guys to be on here is exciting, because what it means is that you are early right now in this, and we're all incredibly early in this. Number one, if you guys don't know me very well, just very, very quick, this is going to be like the quickest thing that you've seen here. I have been in this game for a long time. Tons of experience, done lots of coaching, as well as the agency side with hundreds of brands, owned a bunch of brands of my own. And that's been a blast. My favorite thing is coaching, teaching, leading. All of those things are really what gets me super excited. I've had a podcast. You guys might know me from the podcast as well. Well over 600 episodes now, close to 1 million downloads, which is really fun. So thanks if any of you are in those, some of those downloads. If you guys have seen anything that I do online, I just want to let you guys know I actually legitimately care about this stuff. And care about really actually helping people in this space. To me, that's the most exciting part. If I could have been a school teacher and that would have been a good, would have been able to make money doing that, I would have done that because I legitimately actually love this stuff. Why should you listen to me? We were actually the agency that had the fastest 0 to 7 figures on TikTok Shop in North America, which is really, really exciting. So we know what we're doing. We have figured out what works. And I will tell you, even more importantly, for all the more experienced people out there, we figured out what doesn't work. And I think that's probably even more important in this space to figure out. Awesome. And we just keep having people come in. So unfortunately, the way I set this up is my team cannot do this. I am doing this all at the same time. All right, who is this training for? This is for brands who see the massive opportunity, want to leverage TikTok Shop and beyond. Even if you're just wanting to dip your toe in it, you're wanting to figure out like what exactly is this, right? Why does this matter right now? And it's brands who want to add a massive blue ocean sales channel and halo and really figure that part out. For me today, this is really about figuring out what actually works on the channel. We see TikTok Shop again. This is an old slide that I threw in here. Now the trend data is like well beyond. This was February. The TikTok Shop trend data is absolutely crazy. How big is the opportunity? It's going to be around 1.3 trillion this year in Asia Pacific, which is huge. TikTok Shop had their first $1 billion month in November, which is massive. I believe it was around 1.2 billion. This is, again, we're just at the beginning, right? We're still in that early adopter phase, which is really, really fun. Generally, over the years, have sort of come in like just after early adopter phase. For this one, I saw this, Felix on my team came to me before he was on my team and was like, hey, I really think we need to look at this. This is a fundamental shift in the way that things work. And I had enough guests on my podcast to know what things look like in Asia and that this was going to be the big translation over. And we can see that with live shopping, right? I think that's the biggest part that I'm seeing is how live shopping is catching on. And the kinds of numbers that we're seeing live shopping push really makes me think and really makes me hint at the fact that this is happening. We're starting to reach that tipping point. By the way, for any readers out there, Malcolm Gladwell's new Revenge of the Tipping Point, great book. Again, this is Amazon and Facebook ads of 2015, right? You've probably heard me talk all about it, but really what I want to let you guys know is that it's really hard to explain how this channel is so fundamentally different than others. I had somebody on a call recently and they were talking about how this is probably just like another channel like Amazon. It's not going to add a ton of incrementality. It's just another marketplace. Now, for anyone who's out there, and I know I see a few more sort of enterprise level people out there right now. This for you guys, this is not a marketplace. This should not go in your marketplace. This should not live in your marketplace channel. That is how so many people are treating this channel right now, as though it's a marketplace. It is not a marketplace. This is a performance channel. This needs to sit with your performance marketing team. Also on the other side, this is not influencer marketing. Again, I don't know if I have these slides in here or not, but I think I might even have this over here. This is nothing like any of those channels, right? This is the kind of channel that really is Facebook meets influencer marketing, but also meets QVC, meets, I like to call it like the multi-level marketing of our generation, right? The way that we see, and we're growing this massive high GMV creator community, the kinds of people that we see in that community could have really been the people that were running multi-level marketing businesses back 20 years ago, right? Maybe 25 years ago. They would have been the perfect people in there. But instead of selling to their friends now, they're just really good at selling. They want to stay at home, but they're really good at selling and they're really good on camera. And so this is one of the really interesting things that I'm seeing over here is this in the creator community. And so, you know, when we talk about this, and I've talked about this online lots, right? It's not an influencer game. This has nothing to do with influence. This has to do with selling, right? These are salespeople who are selling online, and it's fundamentally a new way that we're doing commerce, but it also kind of harkens back to the way that we've always done commerce, right? You'll see in Social Commerce Club, all commerce is social, right? We really believe that. When you think about the way that you make purchases, it's a social behavior. I would actually go as far as to say as Amazon is one of the places that it's not nearly as social. And I think that Amazon is going to shift into that. And we can see some of the moves that they're making as well to make things more social. Let me just see if I can move things along here. Awesome. So what is this? So the new way of doing things, and this is funny, this is a slide that, yes, I've got a recording going just for everyone who's joined, because I've had a ton of people join before. By the way, awesome, 122 of you guys on here. Absolutely love that. That's really great. Just quickly to kind of just go back a couple minutes here, we're gonna have all the questions at the end. So anybody who wants to ask questions, we're going to be able to do that at the end. Please put your questions into the chat, and we'll try and gather up all the questions that we can in the chat at the end. Yeah, so and I've got a recording going, just so everyone is aware. We'll be sending that recording out afterwards. So the new way of doing things, right? We see TikTok Shop and social commerce sitting up at the top, right? And from here, this is the best possible way to figure out what actually is going to work socially and potentially have that virality, right? So instead of doing influencer seeding like we used to do, and it's interesting because I've seen influencer seeding actually dramatically, the efficacy of influencer seeding, and I'm sorry if anybody out there is like big in this space right now, but I've seen the efficacy of it just dramatically tank since TikTok Shop. Here's the crazy thing, guys. I am in the WhatsApp group with our creator community, and there's hundreds of messages that go back and forth. And I am the psycho that actually like reads most messages, just because I want to know exactly what's going on in this community. There's one girl who said, I have 122 brands that I need to make content for right now. That is crazy, right? So when you think about this influencer seeding thing, they've got all the products in the world that they want, right? We need to actually offer them something different. So you think about TikTok Shops up here at the top. We have the old way of doing influencer seeding and UGC content over here. The amazing thing is TikTok Shop is really combining being able to get this incredible content, right? And this content is so different than our regular UGC content. For you brand people out there, this is probably a little bit difficult. And guys, I am like a brand person at heart. I love brand. I mean, even if you see like the new launch of the Social Commerce Club brand, like we are brand people. We love brand. I really believe in this idea of the mere exposure effect, right? Where the more that you see a brand, the more that you love a brand. And I love that. The problem is this is so different. This is not like that. You cannot control the way that your creators make content for you. That's the crazy thing. You cannot control that. So this is the new way that we're really seeing things, right? Is we have TikTok Shops up at the top. We're actually getting sales along as we test out products. Now, one thing, and I don't think I have this in my slides, but one thing that I want to bring up, and this is like absolutely crazy, is some of the brands that we're working with, they've started to test products on TikTok Shop that they thought were dogs, that were just not performing overall. And these are on like their .com and retail and Amazon. They just weren't performing. And then somebody took that product and repositioned it on TikTok Shop, right? Because you don't really have control over the kind of the kind of content that they make. There is not a single TikTok Shop creator that will let you say yes to their content. And if you do, you are going to be like absolutely hated. So just so everyone understands, you can't say yes or no to the content. So they started making content for this one particular item, and this one particular item is now sold out. It's like there's so much demand for this one particular item because the influencers took it and repositioned it in new ways. There's all these new ways that people are repositioning products out there on TikTok Shop, and it's like you have this incredible army of people that want to go out and sell for you, right? It's like it's like, think about it in like the retail sense, right? It's like on TikTok Shop, you're setting up all of these new retail locations all over the place, and you automatically have these salespeople who are massively incentivized to be able to sell for you. Guys, there's people in our creator community. There was one I saw, she did $700,000 plus of GMV last month. At an average of, I think it was around 15% that she gets paid. It's like well over well over six figures that she made in 1 month over here. So they are highly incentivized to be able to do that. All right, let's keep going here. Why an accelerator? So obviously, this is the pretense of this was that I'm going to be doing an accelerator. I'm going to be taking on 20 brands. Obviously, there's been 122 people on this call right now, so everyone's not going to be able to join. So somebody asked me recently, and this was actually a slide that I did from when I did my very first agency accelerator. And it's been really fun training agencies. But what I've realized is that there's a lot of brands that want to get trained in this, right? And you actually want to understand things even before you go and hire an agency. It's really good to actually understand what works, because you'll see it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work for your brand. Can you do it as a brand? Absolutely, right? That's why I'm going to be putting on an accelerator for this. But I heard somebody on X say, like, what is there even to manage? Like, oh, okay, obviously you don't actually understand what this is, because if you understood what it is, you'd be like, there's so much to manage, right? Again, I spent hundreds of hours, tens of thousands of dollars. That should be hundreds of thousands of dollars. And guys, it looks like the comments are going tons back and forth. Awesome. Just keep that going. I absolutely love it. If you guys have comments in there, there are people from my team on that call or on the call. So they'll be sort of answering things back and forth. Again, this is sort of a social commerce club, as well as me doing the accelerator sort of thing. Here is a lot of work. I don't want to go through every single one of these. The idea really is just to show you that there is a lot of things to learn fundamentally when it comes to social commerce to really truly understand how to scale on here, right? We have the whole live shopping aspect of things, right? We have actually having creators in the beginning, and I'll go through that when I go through the 3-step process. Or our 3-phased approach that we use. I'm going to go through and show you exactly where we start to enter things in, like mass affiliate outreach, where ads come in, right? For us, we've had to prop up an entire other side of ads on TikTok specifically to manage this entire process, right? It's become an incredibly big process to be able to scale up on ads as well. So there is a lot of work. So just to sort of answer that question. So here's mistakes that brands are making, and I love this little here. That's one of my faves. Number one, not enough outreach, right? Not enough selling to influencers. So this is the fact is you need to be selling to your influencers, right? This is a sales process. This is really trying to get them to post for your brand, right? Number one, accept your brand, right? And then number two, after that, right? To be able to actually get them to post and post multiple times for your brand and make it enough of an incentive for them to post, to continually post, so that they continually are getting rewarded. I heard this podcast this is on the other day. I think it was Alex Hormozy that was talking about this, and talking about trying to move the delay of gratification as low as possible when giving financial compensation or any kind of compensation or any kind of any sort of like kind words or anything like that, to move it as close as possible from the action to when you give the feedback as possible. And that's what creates these beautiful feedback loops. That is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about how to continually sell to influencers. Some of you guys are going to be good at this, and some of you guys might need some help on that. Again, that's something that we're going to be going through in the accelerator. Rights management, that's another big thing. I'm seeing brands not actually get rights management, right? This is a really big one. It's like, hey, you want to be able to get the rights to use this content, this absolute gold, on other channels as well, right? Am I saying that like Facebook ads are dead or like any other channels? No, absolutely not. But being able to use this content elsewhere is going to be phenomenal. Guys, YouTube shopping is coming well on the heels of all of this, right? So once YouTube shopping comes, having all of this content that works really well over on TikTok is phenomenal. Again, somebody put in their bots and email outreach. I agree, But let me tell you something. One of the creators that we have, Anna, who runs our creator community, she gets between 300 and 500 outreaches in her inbox every single day on TikTok Shop Affiliate Center, between 300 and 500. Anyone want to just guess in the comments how many emails she gets a day? Because everyone's like, oh yeah, just go to the email inbox. Influencers don't get emails. I have said that in the past. Anyone want to take a guess in the comments how many emails that she gets a day? Anyone? Whatever it is, it's going to be lower than you. It's going to be more than you think. It's between 12 and 1,500 emails a day. Is how many emails she gets. There's no possible way that she can keep up with this. So are bots and email outreach good? Yes, to a point, right? But just remember that like these high GMV influencers, or sorry, I made the mistake of calling them influencers. These high GMV creators, right, and salespeople are getting bombarded with your messages, right? If you do not stand out, like again, the number one thing that you need to do is sell to them, right? And I'll go through the three-phased approach of why it makes sense the way that we set things up and why, if you've tried to do this before, why you probably haven't been successful. That's the really, really cool thing here. So, and again, leveraging content with ads in the end is great on TikTok, but also on other channels, right? This is where like we've seen really big success on YouTube ads recently as well. With the content over from here. And then as YouTube shopping starts to get up and running and we're actually able to link ads with YouTube shops, it's going to be phenomenal. Robert, I'll get to questions a little bit later at the end, but I'll make sure that one's in there. So here's part of our setup process. We do have a 52-page Notion SOP for this. It is just absolutely crazy the amount of work that's actually involved in this. But we've got that all set up. If you guys join the Accelerator, you get access to all of that kind of stuff from us. Again, also, if you guys are interested from on the agency side, this is something Felix at some point can put his calendar in here. Though I know his calendar has been crazy, talking with lots of brands lately. But Felix, go ahead at some point throw your calendar in there too. If somebody sees this and is like, hey, I don't know about the Accelerator part, but I do want to work with an agency like yours. Again, I'm not trying to make this a giant sales pitch. You guys know me. This is just wanting to provide you guys as much as out there. The daily process, and this is not even like close to what the daily process actually is, but I'm tracking influencers that have posted, again, trying to move that reward cycle less, which is again, why we centralize our creators in a group, right? So that we can continually give them these little dopamine hits of like, hey, well done, well done, well done. That's really, really, really important. Downloading content from your creators, trying to repost. So reimagining the content, right? Taking it, editing it, reimagining it. I talk about the Tabs chocolate method. I'll probably go through that in more detail, which is fun because we actually help Tabs get their store up. And they are the grandfathers at this point of TikTok marketing for brands that can't run ads, which is really interesting. Awesome. So let me go through this. This is probably the biggest part in this that I want to emphasize, and this is what a lot of the Accelerator is built on and all of the details of that. So I'm going to go over this in a high level. Write down any questions that you have right now when it comes to some of this. Spencer, yes, this is going to be recorded. It's being recorded in the background right now on Google Meet. Let me go through this because again, this is probably the most important thing that you're going to take from this. Awesome. I'm going to let George in here. George, you've come at the absolutely perfect time to join everyone here to go through this. So this is really what we figured out after working with tons of brands. I don't even know how many brands it is now. Like maybe it's close to 100. I don't know, something like that. Crazy. But here's what we have figured out, and from all of the mistakes that we've made. So what we used to think, right? And this is what I think the prevailing wisdom still seems to be out there, or the prevailing, Twitter knowledge out there is we're going to go through and we're just going to outreach tons of people, right? We're going to do what Goalie did, which again, Goalie is a complete outlier, and we're going to send 30,000 packages out to influencers. The problem with that is that you are nothing to them. Even if you're a massive brand, guys, even if you are an incredibly well-known brand, you are nothing to them. All that they see on your side is how much GMV your store has done and how much GMV the specific SKU that you were trying to send to them has done. If that number is low, 0 or low, which most of you are going to be when you first reach out to them, the way that they're going to see you is nothing, right? Because their entire job is to make sales and make money on what they sell for you, right? And so if your SKU or your store is just starting out, this is the one big mistake that people make. Probably the biggest mistake is they'll be like, well, I'm going to send out like 500 packages right away. And it's like, sure, but just remember that influencer I told you guys, or sorry, keep saying influencer. Remember that creator that I told you guys about before, who has like 120 packages that they're waiting to make content for. Do you think that they're going to prioritize your content over all of the other packages that are there? No, they are going to do the brand that already has GMV and is much more likely for them to make money on. They're also going to work with the brands that also incentivize them in certain ways. Now, it's really interesting because we have this huge creator community now that we're able to get some of these really deep insights on what actually incentivizes them. So the number one thing that incentivizes these creators today to actually post is that you are going to put ad spend behind their Spark codes. That is the number one thing. So if you don't put ad spend behind their Spark codes, they probably don't want to post much for you, because they understand that if you put ad spend behind something that's good, because a lot of times right now, what's happening is that their posts aren't getting a ton of reach, right? Their posts will, some will do well, some won't. And it's not because it's bad content. It's just the algorithm is starting to get flooded, right? So what is happening right now is the creators want you to give some sort of guarantee, especially the high GMV creators. They want to give some sort of guarantee that you're going to put some ad spend behind at least a few of their posts. And so that's one of the ways that we've been able to be incredibly successful over the last little while. It's just guaranteeing that we're going to spend a certain amount of ad spend on these posts. Now, one of the things that I'm going to get, sorry, this is getting really into the weeds again. I'm going to get like super detailed in this in the Accelerator. And again, this is what our team does all day. So Felix threw his Calendly link in there, or HubSpot link. If you guys want to book a call with him and kind of figure out what we do, that's a good place to start. But for the sake of the Accelerator, let me just go through this a tiny bit here. So GMV Max, creators hate GMV Max. I just want everyone to know, because GMV Max pulls from all of the creators' Spark codes, right? And it automatically does it based on what it thinks that it's going to do well. This is not a win-win for creators. GMV Max is not a win-win for creators. If you're working with high GMV creators, they will start to be asking you, they're understanding that GMV Max is killing their posts. Now, one of the things, and this is totally anecdotal, and I'll have to, somebody from TikTok is on here, I'm sure you can't speak to this. What they're seeing anecdotally is that as soon as one of their posts is put into a GMV Max campaign or ad spend is put behind it, that the organic on it seems to die. Now, again, we don't have this confirmed. It's really hard to know whether or not this is true. This is just anecdotally what we're seeing, which is why we like to house every single one of these ads in a separate ad set, right? And test from there, because then we know that we're actually going to give that ad a chance. And again, remember guys, this is from doing millions of dollars on the platform last month, right? Like we understand what it takes to do this. Now, the media buying is difficult, but we do have a process for that. And again, we'll go through that. So the three-phased approach is really this onboarding and setup piece, right? Phase 2 is getting your first 1,000 sales and your first 100 reviews. Now, a lot of people are like, why 1,000 sales, why 100 reviews? So you can remember it. It needs to be a substantial amount of sales, enough sales on that SKU, right? Or within your store, that when creators look at it, it's going to be a bit more of an equal relationship rather than the way that it is right now. Right now, the creators have all of the power, right? All of the power is on the creators right now. And again, it does not matter how much brand equity you have in this world. Maybe like a Nike and maybe like Lulu. By the way, if somebody knows somebody at Lulu, I should find them in Vancouver, but if you do, please send them my way. I'd love to get them going. Because women's wear is the second biggest category right now on TikTok Shop. So what we're trying to do is move the relationship this way, right? And then after that, right, what we're trying to do is get to that 6 figures and beyond, right, into 7 figures. And from there, right, I think that we're going to start to see some massive 8-figure months from brands, right? We see Goldie has already had some 8-figure months, which is great. Let alone the halo effect, right? The halo on top of all of this is just insane. And so this is really what this three-phased approach is about. And this is what I'm going to get into in detail in the accelerator. So the accelerator that I've been doing for agencies right now has gone through this, helping agencies actually understand how to do this for brands. Right now, I'm going to take a bit of a break from agencies and creating a bunch of competition for ourselves and get more into actually helping you guys out, because I've heard this loud and clear from you guys that you guys actually want help on this. And again, I'm going to try and get through this a little bit faster here, just because I know there's a ton of questions here. Jess, I'll get to that question. Yes, Jess, I just, so you know, I see your question and understand. Yes, 100%. I think that the biggest thing I want everyone to understand is that this is the creators have all of the power right now. And I hate to say that to you guys, but the creators have all of the power. You take back some of that power with ads, right? That is where ads come in and where you can start to leverage this and create really good relationships with creators, right? One creator, I like to say this about the creator relationships within TikTok Shop, is that it is really the 80-20 of the 80-20 of the 80-20, right? It is the law of, I forget exactly what this law is called, but really finding that those select few. Actually, interestingly, in the new Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell's book, he talks about this when it comes to super spreaders with diseases, and that it's like 1 out of like 100 or 1 out of 1,000 that would spread to the majority because they have this certain issue with their vocal cords. Anyway, really interesting. It's the same thing when it comes to creators. And so just remember that when it comes to these creator relationships, and this is something I get super into detail when I'm doing training on this stuff, is how to approach this. Probably lots of you guys have tried this and made mistakes with creators, right? And thought about it much more transactionally than relationally. And if you think about it, right, the problem is with the performance people is that it's all transactional, right? It's like, well, I'm going to buy media here. I'm going to, like, you're not buying media. You're actually creating a relationship with somebody, right? And then you're going to buy some media after, but it's not like that. And then the influencer people are all concerned with trying to get the people who have the most influence, right? And so they don't really get it. And so you have to think differently. These are new muscles that you're having to actually start to work out, which is hard, right? It's very hard. All right, let's talk a little bit about the accelerator here. This is where the accelerator comes in. Time is money. I want to help you guys cut your learning down from whatever it's going to be and however long I have figured this out, down into 4 weeks. So that's really what this is a condensed way for us to actually figure this out. I want you guys to learn from my wins and my mistakes, and have a mentor to be able to walk you guys through this. I usually have a couple of my team members within here as well from Social Commerce Club who are going to be in here helping you guys out and sort of guiding throughout this. Any questions that have to get answered. We have so many questions in our agency accelerator. I can't imagine in the brand accelerator how many. I want to give you guys all the templates, all the tools, basically everything that we have learned from now, so that you can figure out this blue ocean opportunity. That's really, at the end of the day, what I want is for more brands to go on. When I go and look in Calidata is the big place that we look to see our data, Calidata and Fastmoss. And it's incredible to see how few brands are still on the platform. Like we are ultra early adopter phase, guys, ultra early adopter phase. And so the fact that you guys are on here and excited about this makes me super happy. So let me just show you exactly kind of what's involved in the accelerator. This will be super quick. This is my one little pitchy part. So I'll show you guys a little bit about the accelerator. Again, if this sounds like a ton of work and you're like, hey, I just want to do this, with an agency, feel free. Felix has thrown his Calendly link in there. And I will make sure to get to any of these questions at the end. I want to make sure to have tons of time for Q&A. So I'm going to try and get through this part here, give you guys the link for if you guys are interested in the accelerator, give you a bit of a pitch on this right now, of why I think that this would be great. Again, we're keeping this to 20 brands. I had 240 on the event invite. We've had about 123 on here. So the first 20 brands are going to be the ones that are going to be able to join. So the whole idea is for you guys to go from first sale to scale. If you already are at first sale, but you just want to figure this out, then that is what this is all about. In the accelerator, we cover everything from setup to scaling to 100K beyond months. I'm going to go into some of the stuff that's working for the brands that we're working with, some of the stuff that isn't within there in lots of detail. We have 2-hour accelerator sessions that we go through. and all the detailed strategies at each one of these milestones that is actually working right now. We're going to help you source high quality content and actually have good collaboration. So that is really what this is about, is helping you guys really exercise that muscle. We want to make sure to develop creator networks that maximize your brand's visibility and engagement. That is a really big part of this, is actually being able to take that relationship to the next step with your creators. Tons of sort of the metrics that we're tracking, yada, yada, yada. All the actionable steps. Like if you can just think about like literally everything that we are executing on at the agency, I just want to give that to brands. Awesome. Let me just see here. So yeah, basically, yeah, if you think about everything that we have, we're also very interesting and very fun. One of the things that we are developing right now, and I'm developing with my good friend Jeff Penner right now, is an AI knowledge base that you guys, that is going to be constantly updated. So you're going to gain access to like an actual course as well that also has custom GPTs built out throughout, that will answer all of your questions anytime that you have it. So any knowledge that we have, we're going to be uploading into this custom GPT that you guys will have access to. So we're really trying to integrate AI along with it, and this AI assistant that will continue to grow in knowledge and in what is working. So that's one of my most exciting things. I totally forgot that this is, when I saw the slide, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That was one of the things that I'm like so ridiculously excited about, is this awesome AI assistant that will basically be able to like think like we do, right? So if you guys have questions about anything, you go to the AI assistant, it's going to have our full knowledge all within there, as well as you guys will get access to an on-demand course. So again, since we last about a recording today, that's essentially what our course is going to be, is like lots of these that are spread out, helping you guys learn and beyond, so that you can help your team members learn. Again, if you guys have marketing teams, you're gonna be able to give this to your marketing teams as well. So, all right, we're just about done this part here. Oh, awesome. Okay, so this is my one pitchy part. Again, you guys can ignore this if you want, but let me just show you what this is. In the first 24 hours, anybody who wants to sign up for this, I'm assuming that we'll probably have 20 brands right away in the first 24 hours. And again, we're going to get to Q&A in 1 minute here. I'm going to have a ton of time for questions and answers, which is awesome. So today, $500 discount for the next 24 hours. So until, man, I'm in a weird time zone right now, but until, let's just say until noon Pacific tomorrow. That just makes it easy on my side. We're going to do a $500 discount. So $39.70 US. I have to say that because I'm Canadian, you know, but I only work in USD. Now, here's something really cool that I was able to get from one of my team members with Jeff Penner, is anyone who signs up today, and Jeff is well prepared for 20 of these, an hour AI consulting session for your brand, which is really fun. So he's going to show you how to implement, how we're implementing AI at the agency for brands, and help you build out a roadmap inside of there. So super, super exciting. That is part of, again, if you sign up by noon tomorrow, which is great. We'll make sure within the first 24 hours to get you guys access to all of the templates and tools that we have. Just so you guys know, I'm also getting all sorts of really great software discounts. I've asked a bunch of the like TikTok Shop bots and great CRM tool, a bunch of these people, Social Snowball, all of them for discounts for people that are joining the Accelerator, which is great. So you get a bunch of discounts on that. So agencies for this, I've been charging $69.50. We've been full every time with that. Again, after today, I'm going to be charging basically $4,500. Today is essentially $4,000. So that is my pitch for you guys, for anyone who wants to join. Kai, if you could put the link to that in there, we'll throw a Stripe link and I'll throw a Notion link in there as well. That will be in the side there. I'll make sure to email that all for you guys. That is my big pitch for you guys to join the Accelerator. I believe. Oh, and sorry, and questions on the Accelerator here as well. We're going to be starting first thing in January. So I believe that it's January 6th is going to be our first session. And it'll be every Monday for 2 hours until for the first 4 weeks. And then we will keep the shared Slack channel open. So we got to do a shared Slack channel within the Accelerator. We'll keep that open for the first, we'll keep that open indefinitely so that you guys can ask questions within there. And then you'll also have your AI assistant that you can ask questions to as well. So just so everyone is aware there. So Kai just threw the, there's a Notion document. You'll see TikTok Shop, the Blue Ocean Opportunity. that gives you all of the information. So if you want to just click on that and have that link open so you can talk to your team or whoever you need to get some budget approval for. Again, remember at our agency, our rates start at around 7,500 plus a percentage. So just so you guys sort of have an idea in pricing here, sort of where we sit. And then obviously as the amount of work goes up for brands, we continue to go up from there. So for this is about half of what 1 month of agency fees would cost. So just so everyone's aware. We also threw a Stripe link in there if anyone's just like, yeah, Jordan, this sounds great, I'm in. Okay, I believe that, oh yeah, here's some of the more details. I'll put this up here. Let's get to Q&A. I got 90 of you still here. I would absolutely love to get to Q&A, whether it's on TikTok Shop, whether it's on the Accelerator, whatever that is. I want to hear your questions. I have a million from within here. So if you guys still have some of these questions, I'm going to go up to the top and see how many we can answer here. Okay. Yes, so recording is available, guys. Let's just see here. So Lee, looks like you had your question answered before. What software or methods do people use to find affiliates? So yes, so there's Reacher, there's Yuka, and there's Uptick. So those are all great ones. Reacher, just so you guys are fully aware, I'm actually one of their advisors. So I am betting on them right now to absolutely scale like crazy. So really excited for those guys. And what we're trying to build in the background at Reacher is the CRM for social commerce. So that's really where they're planning on going. And we'll soon be ahead of a lot of the other platforms. So just so everyone's super aware, love Reacher, but we also use Yuka as well at the agency right now as we're building up more at Reacher. So, and then Uptick, we have not used Uptick yet. They seem to be a good competitor coming into the space. Seems like pretty basic functionality. And yeah, any of those CRMs are going to work great. Again, once you guys have figured out the step one, right, and getting a lot of that some GMV into your store as well. All right. Is it realistic to seed 200 creators with high AOV products? Robert, yes, but again, making sure that you first choose those creators that you're going to create a relationship with first, and then run ads against that to get your sales up first, because you're going to be way more effective. Hopefully that helps, Robert. And again, if you want to chat with Felix or chat with the team, that's great. Lacey, my teams have helped other brands with fielding the creators to narrow the search. Would love to chat more on this. Okay. Yes, we've had a lot of pushback from creators on giving us Spark codes because they're saying it kills their organic performance. Yes. That is the scary part of this. I completely agree with you. And I'm going to have to talk to TikTok. We're actually going to be meeting with TikTok in New York next week as well. So I will be chatting with them and see if I can get some inside information. I highly doubt that they're going to share anything to do with their algorithm with us, though. So just so you know, that is anecdotally what we are seeing, though. Awesome. And if you guys want to throw your hands up for any questions to do with TikTok or with the Accelerator or with potentially working with our team too, feel free to do that. $250 and up AOV products. So we can see from the data that those higher products right now are not doing incredibly well yet. But interestingly, I posted about this on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. We saw Dyson go on and start to actually make like a decent amount of sales. And so I think that it's just a matter of time before high AOV does well. Think about Amazon, right? Same idea with Amazon. So, before it was a lot of low-end products. I actually just went through Jeff Bezos' biography again recently, and it was super, super interesting to hear the evolution of that and then see sort of where we are in TikTok shop land and social commerce land right now. So, so I still think that it is worthwhile to go on at this point. So with around $250, I would still go on to test. Now, there's some people I saw, Brad on here before with trampolines. That's we did test that. It's not going to work. It's not going to work right now for $2,000 to $3,000 products. I wouldn't, unless you're like incredibly well known. Again, Dyson has that advantage of being incredibly well known. Anya, would love to hear your live question here. And you are muted if
yes. Hi, sorry.
No
so how often should a brand be running a sale? So we're like a higher end supplement brand. We rarely run sales. I think we do 2 or 3 sales per year on our actual website and between Amazon, but obviously TikTok shop sales kind of seem to be the big seller right now. How often do you recommend that? And like how long should the sale be? Like the percentage.
So this actually, when you said this actually brought up a point that I forgot to cover today. And this is having exclusive products to TikTok shop, right? So one of the ways and one of the things that creators hate is when you give them a product that they can go and buy on a different platform. And so you'll see, Anya, get to the point. The idea that and what we recommend is that you actually create TikTok shop specific bundles that have a discount attached to the bundle itself. And it's something that they can't get anywhere else. It's like a TikTok shop specific thing, or you drop a specific product there that has some sort of discount already attached to it. Now, will discounting always be a part of TikTok strategy? Probably. Now we have a brand that we're working with. We discount very, very little, like incredibly little, probably no more than .com. And we try and keep it the same as .com. What you have to do is figure out other incentives, right? Like just like direct to consumer and Amazon, figure out different incentives beyond discounting. And so that's why I think that you can do that with different ways that you're going to position your product in the marketplace. So does that make sense? Anya, there's not a cut and dried answer. I'd love to tell you like, hey, 10% of the time you should discount 20%, but like, there's just not that answer.
Right. Yeah, no, that does make sense. Also, I was just wondering because I'm primarily also on, like I run all of our organic content, and we're trying to figure out kind of that happy medium. And I guess, again, this might be similar that there's not necessarily a right answer. We're trying to find that happy medium between posting fun, relatable content with pain points for our viewers, as well as content that is, linking back to TikTok shop. We've seen kind of a large variation between brands that are really, you go to their profile and they are only doing TikTok shop and it feels like you're on like a QVC profile. And then you go to another brand and maybe every 3 videos, it's a TikTok shop linked video. What would you recommend of that kind of cadence?
Okay, so I'll put my like brand owner hat on here, and I personally would recommend. So I really believe in brand, right? I think that brand is so ridiculously important, and so I would not sacrifice sales from a brand handle. So number one, we don't see the majority of sales coming through brand handles, right? We see it coming from we'll call them sales reps, right? From our creators. So you don't necessarily need to blow your page up with the QVC style content. Now, does that help? Yes. Could you have a secondary page, like, and use the sort of like the Tabs chocolate method to be able to push that content out? Yes. That is where I would, that's much more where I would recommend going, is a secondary page and making sure that like your brand is really important. Again, we work with lots of enterprise level brands and they will not do that to their brand, right? They will not put that kind of content on there. And again, we're just not seeing the same push from the brand handle as we are from the external creators. Does that help you there, Anya, to kind of make that decision?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I got Jay Goldie 135. I don't know who this is, but.
Hi, Jordan. It's Stacy from Shops Live. This happens to be my
what's up?
Google email. First of all, everyone, if you're thinking about working with Jordan, you most certainly should. He's really knowledgeable, cutting edge, and really smart. But I'm here to bring up 2 really important things because I own a live shopping platform that really focuses on host matching and doing that correctly. For those of you, what I'm saying you really need to take into consideration, and Jordan, you can agree with me or not, TikTok live shopping is amazing. It's great for discovery. It's great for sales. But if you are looking for a customer retention and being able to re-engage with your customers that you get from TikTok, don't expect this to happen because they own the data. There are solutions that Jordan can figure out for you to get the best of both worlds. Using live shopping on your website, potentially live shopping on TikTok. And I believe if you're going to do it, do a balance and do what Jordan said, having a specific bundle or promotion that's unique to TikTok so that you can get the best of both worlds. Thoughts,
Yeah,
Jordan?
awesome. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Stacey. Yeah, that's great. And that's going to be part of sort of the future of what this whole live shopping arena looks like as well, right? As you can see, that really interestingly, I made a great purchase the other day. I bought the Meta Ray-Ban Lives, or the Meta Ray-Bans, because I was just interested in seeing what this was going to, what this is going to be like. Now, one of the selling features that they give is that you can stream live. Well, we know that Meta has gone back and forth on their live streaming a ton, right? And on their live streaming capabilities. This makes me really think that they are going to be making another massive push into the commerce sector with live shopping specifically. So very, very interested to see what that all looks like. Again, you can go check out Shop Lives to check out what that looks like and how that centralizes into D2C as well, so you can own your customer data. Today, we are talking specifically about TikTok Shop though. So thanks so much there, Stacey. All right, I'm gonna get to another question here. Somebody saying, Jerome saying that Uptick is very comparable to Reacher at the moment. Awesome, thanks for, again, as much as I don't have, or I use whatever the best possible tool is. I'm trying to help Reacher get to be the best, but at this point, use whatever the best possible tool is out there. Miguel has a good question there. Besides the accelerator cost, how should we budget plan for media? So I like to always start, it sort of really depends how big the brand is, right? I would look at customer acquisition costs very similarly as you do on other channels, besides the gifting, right, to the influencers and the seeding for the influencers. So that's sort of what you should look at. I mean, it really depends, Miguel, on the size of brand. I wish I could tell you, like, give you a definitive answer, but there's just not a good, answer there. Like, minimum $100 a day for ads, customer acquisition cost very similar to what you're going to see over on Meta, if not a little bit lower at first. It's going to lower substantially once you get into it. So, like, for a smaller brand, I'd say, like, hey, just start at $100 a day to start to get some of those conversions, right, and start to exercise that muscle. So, yeah, awesome. Thanks, Miguel. That's great. A couple of questions from Caroline. You mentioned that clothing is the second biggest industry on TikTok. What are the other top categories? So if you guys go to Calidata, I'm sorry, I don't actually have that up right now. Supplements is a huge one. Anything in health and wellness is huge. But if you guys go to Calidata, you can sign up for a free account. I don't even think you have to put a credit card in or anything there, and you can see what these top categories are there. Sorry, I should have shared that as well. I'm gonna share more kind of fun stuff like that on LinkedIn soon as well. Anya, yeah, we answered your question. How often should you be running a sale? Sorry if I say this wrong, Sijal, 110 AOV. Yeah, I would do it 100%. If you would have got me 6 months ago, I would have said no. How can TikTok Shop help luxury brands like ours showcase and sell high-end jewelry effectively? Yes, 100%. So I used to say no to this all the time, that TikTok had the audience for luxury high-end jewelry. No, I actually believe that it does. And you're going to see some really great halo over top of this as well. I think, which is super, super interesting. So no, I would, and sorry, and it really depends where luxury is and how well known the brand is and what kind of story you can tell around that. So again, I don't have the specific numbers, but I would continue to look into that. Tim, out of your range, yeah, totally understand. Yeah, beauty and personal care is number one. Let me just see here. Jesse, any other questions for you guys to raise your hands on here? Yes. Okay. So to properly launch with the Accelerator, should a brand be prepared for a minimum 200 free products to seed? I would say for your first phase, 100 is fine. Developing relationships with those 100 and getting good content out of them. So instead of getting 100 random people, or sorry, like 200 random people, focusing on between 50 and 100 that you're going to create relationships with, and you're going to try to get them to post more for you, right? And so really sell them on your brand and why this is the time for them to get in on your brand and that you're going to be putting ad spend behind them. So I'd go with less creators at first. I hope that really helps there. Lori, can you talk about some of the challenges, like how TikTok is slow to refund shipping fees or the promotions? Oh man, that is, with 3 minutes left, I'm so sorry, Lori. It's a bit of a can of worms. I will, I'll do a post about that at some point. But there is a lot of stuff that is all involved in there. There's like multiple facets of TikTok Shop. So yeah, just so you know, yes, they are slow. That is, they're building this thing in the air just like everybody else right now. So I can't talk specifically to that, but for the Accelerator, I'll make sure to go through that as well. Hannah, what's the best way to up our GMV so creators see our value? Oh, so again, like I just talked about there, it's a relationship building game. So ads, telling them that you'll be putting money behind the posts if they give you a certain amount of posts. So trying to do that, right? Be like, hey, look, we're going to put $3,000 behind your posts if you make 15 videos for us, right? They might go for that, right? You can do a lot of negotiating, and I'll go through that in the Accelerator, like in detail of like sort of how we like to negotiate. But really what you're trying to do, it's a sales process. So if you're not like into sales, then it might be a little bit difficult. Somebody asked here that smooth shaving and grooming products, less what amount? So sorry, what was that referring to exactly? And then any other questions, guys, please throw that into the comments. I have 2 minutes left here. And I'll just wait till, from your experience, which type of video converts more? The ones curated, commercial type video or amateur videos? Amateur videos all day long. They are the ones that seem to do well. Ones that actually can combine like humor alongside of amateurish kind of videos tend to do really, really well. But I would say like in between that sort of QVC style and amateur tends to do really well. The highly curated, like it's so hard for brand people at big brands, and we talk to them all the time, right? It's so hard for them to understand, like you're gonna have to just let go a little bit, right? This is not going to be like your, $500,000 video shoot that you put money behind, but it is still incredibly brand building, right? It's the way that other people are talking about your product. It's the best possible thing that a brand can do to understand how other people see their product. You're going to get like, we have catchphrases that people have made now for brands that we work with and that have like totally caught on. It's like, oh yeah, we're just going to do the blank slide, like it's so cool. I love it. All right, we are at 9:30. We got through a ton today. Guys, give me on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being this was super worth your time, to like 0, this was not worth it at all. Let me know in the comments how this was. And I really appreciate you guys all coming on here. Alan, hey, great to see you, Caroline. Yeah, awesome. Jerome, seeing an 8 there, please feel free to email and let me know what else we need to answer. Yes, I'll be putting on more of these as we go along, absolutely. And trying to answer more specific questions as you guys go and we start to build whatever this looks like. Awesome to see that some of you guys have already signed up for the Accelerator. Awesome, that's great. Again, we've got 20 spots open, and for the first 24 hours, we're going to be offering some of those bonuses. So super pumped to have you guys there. And again, if you look at this and you're like, hey, I just want to hire you guys as an agency, Felix is throwing his calendar in there. I will make sure on the follow-up that Felix's calendar is in there for you guys to book in with him, though I know he's super busy these days. Thanks for everyone for sticking on. We had a lot of people here today, and I hope that this was super worth your while. All right. Thanks so much, guys. See ya. Bye, Richard. I can see your face.